Hey everybody. So welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm not really doing anything too important. Today is just a drill day. We're not trying to hit perfect here. We're not trying to hit finished art. This is actually where all the rubber meets the road a lot of times. Every artist has bad art. You're doing bad art every time you do art. But the only way to get to the good art is to do the bad art. It's kind of like doing exercises. Every rep matters. You know, even if you do that, just one push-up a day, that one push-up is better than no push-ups. So make sure you have those suck. You're gonna suck. You're gonna suck. Let's just keep saying it together for a while. But the only way to really get past the suck is to embrace the suck. Don't worry about, anything that's not going to see the light of day. I used to wrestle with that all the time. But sucking is the only way to get good. By the way, if you hear a lot of background, I'm outside right now. I thought I'd try something a little different. I'm pacing. I've got my phone in my hand while I'm watching this. And we're just kind of chilling today and watching this. If you notice, I'm not going for anything absolutely realistic with these drills. What I'm doing is we're cartooning. I love cartooning. I've always loved cartooning. I like to be able to exaggerate, make that guy, just scream from the top of his lungs. Because sometimes you need to express that kind of rage. And doing realism, yeah, you can, but it's just not the same. The exaggeration in cartooning is what's always attracted me. So that's why I do it. I'm sitting here doing my drills. This is kind of a warm-up session for me. I don't know if you saw the paper I'm using. It's honestly just kind of garbage paper that you can get at any dollar store. I think I bought that at Daiso. It's got some tooth to it. I'm not really used to a lot of teeth. I'm not really used to a lot of tooth in my paper, but sometimes you got to have that little bit of tooth. We talked last time about how I like to draw in glass. Well, when I'm sketching, paper doesn't matter. I'm using a 2mm lead holder. I think that's one of the cheap ones you can pick up at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or any drafting store. I like using mechanical pencils. We've talked about that before. It's just kind of a thing where I don't like drawing with golf pencils. And, your standard wood pencil that you sharpen, after a while you're working with, like I said, a golf pencil. So sometimes it's a little better if you keep something that won't change size on you. You start getting used to the weight of it. And again, use what you're comfortable with. I do. Every artist I know does. Some people, I know some guys that they can literally draw with, that Hello Kitty commemorative pencil that you got from, whatever theme park from 20 years ago. And he bought up a whole bunch of them because he just likes the way they draw. I don't get it, but hey, again, to each their own. I like using a lot of red leads. I work in pen and ink a lot, so being able to see past the pencil sketch whenever I start laying down any sort of black lines, it helps. That's again, goes down to personal preference. I know artists that only use non-photo blue pencils. I know artists that use regular graphite all the time. I kind of jump around. There's no point in staying true to one specific style. We just have to keep doing what we do. I like anything that makes a good mark and makes me happy when I make that mark. But I think I mentioned this earlier, but again, I'm using a basic Loomis method. Andrew Loomis, he was a fantastic art instructor back in the day. I don't have the exact dates, but the guy was amazing, extremely influential. And he taught a lot of kids how to create a head without necessarily doing a full study. It's a matter of breaking down shapes and finding where your proportion lines are. And that's what we're doing here. It's straight down the center line and finding that center line, finding your eye lines, making a spot where your nose shows. Everything I'm doing, honestly, is I keep harping on this, and I'm sure you guys will probably get tired of hearing me harp on it, but hang on, I'm going to cough. Everything I do is pretty basic. None of it's extremely innovative. Anybody can follow along watching me draw and kind of seeing how I do things. What I'm doing is literally what artists and illustrators and cartoonists and commercial artists have been doing since probably the 1910s, 1920s. Nothing I'm doing is absolutely new, innovative, groundbreaking. If you're watching, hopefully you just really like what I'm doing. The other reason I'm doing faces is faces are pretty paramount to a style when you go into cartooning or comic books, that sort of thing. And breaking down a style is really, it's kind of a unique vision. I guess you can say with any style, making things unique is kind of paramount. Your style is always going to be a collection of your influences. So if you are inspired by, I don't know, I'm going to throw an artist out there, Frank Frazetta, who, if you're a huge fan of Frank Frazetta, man, you and me are buds. Let's just be honest. I absolutely adore the guy's art. But if you're into Frank Frazetta, you're going to look at a lot of his work, and your artwork is going to end up somewhere in there kind of following those lines. My style is highly influenced whenever I'm drawing for myself by people like Joe Madureira or Didier Crease, Humberto Ramos, those guys, where they take a lot of cartooning into their art. But also, I love people like Dave Stevens, who are just absolutely clean artists. But what's even cooler about those styles is digging into who they're into. So, like, I'll go to Joe Mad. I've been hyper-focused on his stuff for the past couple of weeks, trying to get my own voice back. But, he has openly admitted his absolute love for Arthur Adams, which, if you've never heard of the guy, my goodness, I would highly recommend looking up his work. He is an amazing comic book artist. But his pen and ink is just incredible. But the thing is just, your art is going to be a collection of your influences. That's how your style gets formed. You like the way I don't know, artist A draws hands. So you're going to sit there and you're going to look at his hands constantly. What I've been trying to do is break out of almost direct reproduction of any artist and really trying to find my own voice again. You know, not necessarily relying on influences, but not being afraid to let those influences show. Because your influences do form who you are as an artist. Everybody's a little different. And everybody constructs things a little different. Everybody looks at the world a little different. So why shouldn't you? You know, that's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of handmade art. I'm probably beating a dead horse, but the beauty of handmade art is that it's human. You know, I've talked a lot about AI in the past, and taking the human out of art doesn't make it art anymore. You know, art is more than just the final result. What I'm doing right now is creating art by doing the reps, by allowing myself to suck, by showing you guys where I'm sucking. Who knows? You might pick something up from this. You might see the way I'm drawing something and go, oh my goodness, I like how that's put together. I'm going to take that idea. You know, we as human beings, the reason we've survived as long as we have is because every idea is built on other ideas. Nothing comes out of a vacuum, not even art. You know, with artificial intelligence and generative AI and whatever you want to call it, you remove the human element because it's instantly art. And by art, let me kind of define that. Art, in that definition, is the image. Let's say it that way. It's an image. It's not necessarily artwork. You know, artwork is work. It's sitting there and constantly hammering away until you get the image you want. Art is problem solving. Art is seeing the world a certain way. Let me ask you something. When was the last time a computer saw the world? They don't really. When was the last time you saw a computer interpret the world? Because last time I checked, computers don't necessarily interpret. They don't necessarily analyze. They take the numbers and they'll use those numbers, they'll use that input to create an image, of course. But that image, there's no soul to it. Geez, I promised I didn't want to go on a big anti-AI rant today. I really didn't. So we're going to change subjects here a little bit. Not a lot, though, I assure you, because I can go on and on about AI and what the damage it's doing to the art community, to the art world. But I want to try to stay away from that. What I've been trying to say, what I think the whole point of this channel, if I'm honest, is to show people that anybody can do art. If you guys would like to see some tutorials on how I put things together, I'm sure you've seen a million tutorials, but I might explain it in a way you understand it. Who knows? And if I do, that's amazing. And I hope I can help you. If you want me to show you the way I do digital art and my workflow on digital, by all means, I'll be more than happy to do that. I started this channel with the hopes of creating a community. And in that community, I want everyone in that community. excuse me, I want everyone in that community to do well. And hopefully I can show you guys how to do well. Or at least how to get started. Because I don't want y'all to be as good as me. I want you to be better than me. I want you to view the world in your way and make something cool. But the problem is you have to make it bad first. And that's where it always comes down to that rubber hitting the road with you have to do it bad. You have to suck. So instead of trying to run away from it, embrace that suck and do that bad art so you can get through it. You know, everybody has good drawings in them. They just have to go through all the bad ones first to get to the good ones. And anybody can do this. You just have to sit down and you have to draw. You have to do it. It's kind of like doing this YouTube thing. I know these suck, and I don't really care. I mean, obviously, I want to do better for you guys. I want to do better for me. I want to become a better presenter, whatever you want to call it. I don't like referring to myself as content creator, but I guess content creator for that matter. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing and hopefully emulate it. Because the only way to get past that, and I'm going to use air quotes here, the AI revolution, is to not be afraid of doing bad art. Not being afraid of doing less than professional artwork. Not every piece of artwork has to be professional. Not every artwork has to be perfect. Believe me, I have fought with that my whole life. So, if I can show you guys the nitty-gritty, gross, dirty, every mistake, because I want you guys to see the mistakes I make. I'm not the best artist in the world. I'm not the worst, I hope, but I know I'm not the best. There are so many other artists out there that are so much more talented than me. So much more skilled, put in so much more work. But hopefully, I can at least get you guys started so you can get onto their level. I want you guys to blow past me. I'm fine with that. I'll be okay with that. But hopefully, you know, rising tides lifting all the boats and all of that wonderful saying, you know, with the missing 100% of the shots you don't take kind of thing. You know, let's get the platitudes out of the way here. Hopefully we all can become better and not have to rely on machines to do creative work for us. Wow, I am awfully rambly today, but I'm okay with it. Hopefully you guys like this. If you did, by all means, please punch the like button. Please hit the bell. You know, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. We're getting towards the end of the video, so I'm trying to do all the sign-off nonsense. But if you guys really did like it, please, by all means, show me that you did. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. If you have any questions, I say this every time, but if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Normally I try to list materials, but like I said, this sketchbook I literally picked up at a dollar store. The lead holder I have, you can pick that up at Michael's, guys. The red lead, any cheap red lead works. That's what I'm using. Like I said, I'm not a gear snob, you know? But anyways, I think this video is starting to come to an end. Hopefully you liked it. Anyways, by next week, we'll be ready to kind of embrace the suck. And let's make some more bad art together, guys. Y'all take care. Have a great